Damn, Missy Mari got beat.
This move is actually based off of a color change that most of you probably know if you're into card magic. So here, the Cardini change, if any of you do the Cardini change, that's a very, very popular, common change. There's so many different ways to do it, and even though we're not going to use it as a color change today, so we're using the spread of the cards as cover. Now, most of the time it's used as a color change where you're covering that motion and it looks like the card's changing. In this context, what we're going to be doing is spreading the cards, and then you grab a group of cards in your right hand or your upper middle hand. Then what you're going to do is you're going to show the card that's in your left hand. So now, when this goes back on top of the deck, you're basically in the perfect position to do a Cardini change. And this other hand is going to provide the cover, this spread. So this is the space that you're creating by having this spread tilted a little bit forward towards the audience and this pack tilted a little bit back towards you. So now you have a lot of space, so you should be able to see that Cardini change happening and these cards aren't getting in the way like that. So it's difficult to really show when we're covering it, but you're doing this Cardini, pulling the card back, and then this is covering that by tilting a little bit forward. So now, if you extend your middle finger of this hand, but keep pulling with your pinky and your ring finger, the card's gonna start to pivot sideways, okay? It's actually pivoting off of your middle finger. So you pull, and now it's pivoting off of your middle finger, and I keep pulling with these bottom fingers, exactly. So it ends up totally horizontal, perpendicular to the deck, which if you now relax your fingers, you can end up in a good position to palm. So I'll show you after that. The right hand actually helps to shove the card into a palm. So you're gonna go around with the Cardini, and now I keep my middle finger extended while pulling with my ring and pinky finger. So now I line it up where the card is now horizontal. At this point, my fingers totally relax, and as this is squaring, I'm actually pushing the card with my bottom fingers to bend it and push it right into the base of my thumb. So now it goes into a perfect palm once your pinky grabs the other corner. Yeah, you got it. Exactly. So more in, yeah, it's pretty easy. So more in like full motion here, and then it goes straight into a palm. This provides the cover by tilting a little bit forward and this tilting a little bit back so that you don't see this going around. But you end up in this position where you're pulling the card with these two fingers and the middle finger is extending. That might be uncomfortable for some of you at first, but anybody that's used to doing the Cardini change, it should be pretty easy. So you pull this around, and now it's basically in a palm position. All you need to do is, while you're closing, have these fingers of your right hand or your upper hand just push the card straight into a palm. Now, it might go a little bit off of center at first. It might not be a perfect classic palm, but that's actually okay, as long as it goes behind where a classic palm should be. So if you have a little bit hanging off in the back, that's okay, because this is a move that by its nature is angle sensitive.
Not only that, the deck is covering it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the
you
deck
can
is
always,
covering
like,
the front.
you can always re-square it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's actually something I did in one of the takes, and I didn't even mention it. Is if you are in this position where you're hanging off, as you come to square, you can with your thumb push the bottom of the card. So if it's like this, the deck would be here, and I'm squaring the deck. My thumb is going to push the bottom of the card, so now it's in a perfect classic palm. And yeah, even if you're hanging off like this, that's still totally fine from the front angle. This move, it's angle sensitive in that some side angles are definitely going to flash. And that's why we're giving this move to you if you want to come up with any variations that are less angle sensitive. The Cardini change already is an angle sensitive move. So some extreme side angles are going to see it. You do have a good amount of cover with this whole spread and your other hand in the way. Like there's a good amount of cover for the move, but especially this left side, you're gonna see a card popping up, and the right extreme, you're gonna see a card popping up. So don't really worry if it's not a perfect palm, because you still can't see it from the front in that the deck's in the way, and your front fingers will be in the way. So just a few closing thoughts about this move. This is kind of like an alternative to the diagonal palm shift, the DPS. You could use it in some contexts, especially when you don't have a card that's already taken out of the deck for the selection. If you just have it in the middle of a spread and you want to just really fast close up the spread and it's already in a palm and you don't need to do any square up moves or inserting the card into the pack, that's one application for this. You can use it for a card to pocket. Also, if you really wanted to, you can transfer from that palm. So when you're in this position, if you wanted to, you don't need to grab it into your left hand. You could also push it into a longitudinal palm in your right hand, which is good for color changes. But that's a good way to reverse the card into a longitudinal. But that's something that a lot of people have done before with this. Just adding the spread as cover is a good way to get into a right hand palm. So if you like this, you can also check out some other magic that I've done. You should definitely check out the One Arm Bandit, which is a release of a lot of sleights that I think are definitely more practical than this one, that I use a lot more for stealing cards out of the deck instead of with two hands, but using one hand. So you can check me out at Blaise Serra on all social media, Blaise Serra on YouTube, and BLAISE SERRA. Check it out. See you soon.